committed to world peace and racial amity.
Good afternoon, everybody. How you guys doing?
Yeah.
My name is Jonathan King, and I am the Vice President of Student Services at Lake Tahoe Community College. I see some of my sisters and brothers over there in the audience. And I also am with this great group. I run with Maud. I actually came in contact with Jenny, and she's wonderful, and all of the members in that group. And connecting with her story, she talked about Aubrey, who is basically gunned down in Brunswick, Georgia, which is a very wonderful place to go to the beach and have a good time. He was gunned down mercilessly by the police. I mean, not by the police, but by some of the people in that neighborhood, and justice was not done. Well, guess what? I'm from Georgia, born and raised, and so you may know about Ahmaud, but there are many Ahmauds way before that where justice was not done. So just taking you back, I identify myself as a civil rights baby. And as a civil rights baby at the age of 4 or 5 years old, I was always tagging along with my parents who were civil rights dissidents, who were fighting for the rights of blacks and minorities at that time in the 60s. So I got a chance to walk and to protest, with them. I got a chance to meet Martin Luther King face to face. I got a chance to meet John Lewis face to face. I got a chance to see people like Malcolm X. These people came to my town to fight for those rights. Okay? And it wasn't always nice and pretty like you see now. Oh, you see these civil rights heroes. You don't really understand what they went through and what they had to sacrifice. My mother and my father were in their 20s when all of this was going down. And they had to give up a lot. I remember KKK members coming to our door looking for my father, ready to lynch him. I remember going to the jails in Camilla, a town nearby, with my mother. My mother at the time was pregnant. And I was about 5, my sister was about 3, my little brother was in her arms, he was 1, and my mother was pregnant. And when she went to this town to take some young prisoners food who had protested for the right to vote, you can't imagine what happened that day. On that very day when I was with her, 2 sheriffs came up to her and they knocked her to the ground and they began to pummel her and they kicked her in her stomach, and she eventually lost her child. She went, she became unconscious and it became national news. So those are some of the kind of things that we experienced for the sake of trying to move forward and progress so that we can all be given the same rights. So here we are in 2020. How do you think a civil rights baby feels when he sees all of the things that are happening right now? All the things that happened then are beginning to come back and they're happening now. So my quest is to work with you to change things so that we have an anti-racist society. I want that anti-racist society to be right here in Lake Tahoe. Right here in Lake Tahoe. And let me tell you, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Before I came to Lake Tahoe in 2018, do you know what I was feeling? I was feeling fear. Like, oh my God. I think the black population is like 0.008. Probably not going to see a black for like a month or 2. Right? I probably won't have any black neighbors or any people of color neighbors. And the reason I felt that way is because a few years before that, I had lived in Colorado. Beautiful Colorado. I lived in one of those towns called Leadville. I lived outside of Leadville. And I think I was the first black person to move into this town. And it was called Buena Vista. I tell you, this is beautiful. You go to Buena Vista, you'll say, oh my God, this is beautiful to the second power. When I moved into that town, the white neighbors never, and I swear, never talked to me for 2 years. And I was literally stopped about 15 times by the cops that first year. Every time they saw me drive by my silver Lexus, they stopped me. They would come even charging into my driveway. The only thing that saved me, do you know what the only thing that saved me was? Can anybody guess? My school badge. Thank God for my school badge. I put it on every time. Oh, he's the vice president there. Okay, we'll leave him alone. That happened 15 times. Now, the thought that went off in my head was, what if you don't have a school badge? What if you don't have a nice home? What if you don't get paid a nice salary? So think about the millions of people in towns like that that are stopped every single day, and they risk their lives, and sometimes bad things happen. So, let me move back up again. Coming to this town was a great relief because people in South Lake Tahoe are nice. People in South Tahoe are nice. And even the police are sort of nice. I haven't been stopped. I don't want to say this because I don't want anything to happen when I go home. But so far, I haven't been stopped at all. I was stopped when I was racing to the airport one day, and the guy was about to give me a ticket, and he looked down and said, "Oh, we were born on the same day. I'm going to give you a pass." Thank God. He didn't give me a ticket, so I'm still good, guys. But I want you all to know this. I'm sure that everybody who's here is non-racist. But I'm calling on you to be something better than non-racist. I'm calling on you to be anti-racist. This is what I want for all of us. Because let me tell you, everybody, even I have implicit biases. Everybody out here has implicit biases. And the way we become anti-racist is opening our arms and becoming more human. And looking at everybody as human. So that we can look at everybody as a part of the same so-called human family. There are no species out there. There's no white species. There's no black species. There's no white blood. There's no red blood. There are only 4 types of blood. A, B, and O. That's it. When you go to the hospital, you're not looking for white blood. So we have to get to the point now of moving to the next level. There is one book that I would like you to think about getting. Because in order to get to this next level, it can't just be talk. You've got to read. You've got to open your mind. You're going to have to absorb, reflect. There are 2 books that have come across my shelf. One is called How to Be an Anti-Racist. And that's something that all of our people at this college are reading. Excellent book. But there's another one which is even better. It's called Me and White Supremacy. So check that book out. I'm looking forward to locking arms with all of you and walking forward so that we can all become anti-racist. And we're going to make this a very beautiful society. Thank you for the principles of diversity, inclusion, and equity. I appreciate that.